Well, the leader of Lebanon's Hezbollah terror group has broken his silence about the Hamas attacks on Israel. Hassan Nasrallah praised the operation and said his militia is engaged in unprecedented cross-border fighting with Israel. He stopped short of saying Hezbollah would fully join the war, but warned that a wider Middle East conflict is a realistic possibility. Large crowds turned out in the Lebanese capital, Beirut, to hear this widely anticipated speech. Hezbollah is backed by Iran and is classified by the US and Germany as a terror organisation. Nasrallah said the October 7th attacks on Israel were carefully planned.
This decision to carry out this operation was 100% Palestinian, and it was carried out by Palestinians. The ones who planned it kept it secret from everyone, including the different resistance factions within Gaza. They also hid it from other countries and the axis of resistance. The fact that no one knew about it proves that this battle is completely Palestinian. The Palestinian people, and has no relation to any regional or even international issue.
Our correspondent Amir Essif in the Lebanese capital Beirut followed that speech, and I asked him whether Nasrallah said anything to suggest that Hezbollah is moving towards an all-out attack on Israel.
The short answer so far is no. All eyes in Lebanon were on this speech, some expecting him to make an all-out declaration of war on Israel, but that didn't happen. What he did say was that while a lot of people were expecting him to say that Hezbollah was going to enter the battle alongside Hamas militants, we meaning Hezbollah, already entered that battle on October the 8th. What he's referring to is basically the status quo that has arisen on the border between Lebanon and Israel, where almost daily Hezbollah sends rockets into Israeli territory, Israel sends rockets back into Lebanese territory, but all within the bounds of an unofficial rules of engagement, not risking escalation. But what has come out of the speech, while it might not be an escalation, while it might be maintaining some kind of status quo, fully supporting Hamas, he says, but not escalating further, we are actually going to be looking to what's happening on the ground to see if the conflict escalates further, because there's a lot that can go wrong when daily fire between Israel and Lebanon becomes the norm on the border there.
Lebanon is in a strange political situation. The economy in tatters, and Hezbollah operating effectively autonomously within its territory. The government there, and indeed people on the ground, must be worried about being dragged into this war.
I can't stress enough how anxious most Lebanese I've talked to are about this conflict. I would say in most of my conversations, the vast majority, have no interest in getting involved in a war with Israel. Far superior economy, far superior military, which has ended in disaster for a lot of residents here in Beirut the last times that they got involved in a conflict. But what's interesting here is Hezbollah, which is just a minority political party with a powerful military wing supported by Iran. While it's just a minority, it has amazing power over the future of Lebanon. We saw that the speech by the Secretary General of Hezbollah today was looked at as what's going to happen in the next days. Is Lebanon going to war with Israel or not? So there's not a lot that Lebanese can do in this political situation, in this financial crisis, which has been going on for at least 4 years now. There's not a lot they can do to protect themselves against a war with Israel, and that gives Hezbollah outsized power in this situation. So a lot of Lebanese are feeling a bit reassured by this speech where he said that we've already entered the battle, we're not going to escalate further. That's the implications of his speech so far.
And a further complicating factor, of course, is that Hamas has a presence in southern Lebanon. Explain to us how that complicates things.
That's right. Hamas is not a political presence in Lebanon, but there are so many Palestinian refugees. Many of them came in 1948 when they were expelled from the territories that are now in President Israel and the Palestinian territories. And within these refugee camps, which we visited yesterday, you have more and more support for Hamas. A lot of Palestinian militants have been leaving these refugee camps, going to the border and firing their own rockets into Israel. Now, where Hezbollah explicitly says it's only firing on Israeli military establishments across the border, Hamas does not make that distinction, has actually fired rockets into civilian areas in Israel. And this presents another danger for the escalation in the region with just another military presence on the border that's not controlled by a unified government here in this country.
Thanks for that, Amir Essif in Beirut.